Hi, I'm Trick, and welcome back to Queer History Matters. This video is a continuation of my sex education series on Feedism. To set the mood, my wonderful husband River hung up my Feedism pride flag in our room, so everyone say, "Thank you, River." Anyways, today's video is going to be a continuation of my Feedist book review of Feedism, Eating, Weight Gain, and Sexual Pleasure by Kathy Charles and Michael Palkowski. For more information about Feedism, I highly recommend watching my previous videos in the series, which will be linked in the description below. This video is based purely off of my own opinions/research, the work of Charles and Palkowski, the opinions of fellow fetus Percy, who did a fetus book review about the same work on Dimensions magazine, and that was actually how I found out about this particular book. I discussed this book review much more in depth in part 1 of this video, but I will be referring to it throughout this video, so I wanted to bring attention to it. A large portion of Charles and Palkowski's work discusses other fetus writings and research that I personally have not had the time to read yet. So, to learn more about these works, feel free to check out my 2025 fetus reading list. Anyways, those will all be linked in the description below. For now, hope you all enjoyed the video. One of the biggest qualms I have with this book is the way that it presents immobility, which can be a lot of fun if done consensually, safely, and with lots of aftercare. In terms of extreme kink, what can be extreme to one can be vanilla to another, and vice versa. Personally, I participate in feedism and pet play quite frequently, but I'm not comfortable being tied up or handcuffed, and someone else might be the absolute complete opposite, and that's okay. I think Percy puts it best when he states, Charles remains fairly impartial for the sake of professionalism and academic objectivity in her analysis of our kink and overall community, describing the authors as sympathetic outsiders. However, when I feel like it comes to immobility, the authors fall into a similar mindset of unwarranted hostility towards fat-centric kinks when it comes to immobile fetus. Charles and Palkowski describe the role of an immobile fetus as transformed into an object that can be altered by the feeder. They assume that the goal of immobility clearly adds to this dehumanizing by taking away the fetus' ability to move or fully express themselves. However, from my own experiences within the fetism community and discussions I have had with those in the community, being a fetus is an expression of oneself. I like to personally view fetism as a counterculture. If your personal flavor of fetism is immobility, being immobile or pretending to be immobile can absolutely be an expression of oneself. Additionally, you can be a fetus and have a transformation or an objectification kink, where some fetus like to be transformed into an object that can be altered by the feeder. River and I discussed mobility much more in depth in part 1 of this video, including how mobility and ability are linked and the importance of fantasy. If that sounds interesting to you, that video will be linked in the description below. Charles and Palkowski strive to understand why fetus get so much criticism and strive to understand the stereotypes that are commonly used to negatively misrepresent us. Charles and Palkowski strive to understand why fetus get so much criticism and understand why certain stereotypes are commonly used to negatively misrepresent us. There is discussed that a person could become so large, speculation that the fetus may be mentally ill, or that the feeder may be psychopathic/sadistic, and sometimes anger at the financial cost of feederism. Many people dislike feedism and immobility specifically because of ableism, capitalism, or a mix of both. Some people are immobile purely based on circumstance, and their existence, experiences, and sexualities should not be excluded from the fetus community, fetus literature, or fetus research. Charles and Palkowski encourage future fetism research to explore more diverse research methods and populations, as most research has focused on North America and Europe and has also centered on heterosexual relationships. They call for more awareness of fetism amongst medical professionals. By understanding what fetism is and the happiness it can bring to those who participate in it, allows doctors to better treat fetus patients by helping them make healthy choices without losing the weight that makes them happy. There are people who can't, struggle to, or don't want to lose weight for plenty of reasons, and their healthcare team should be able to help them make healthy choices at any size. Additionally, some fetus do join the medical field. We work in all kinds of industries because we're regular people just like you. The authors criticize previous research for highlighting stories from victims of fetism rather than legitimate participants. It is imperative for a fetus to be at the forefront of fetism research, which is one of the main reasons I created my fetism series in the first place. The authors suggest looking at fetism through a feminist lens as a way to center fetus in fetism research, which is also something I hope to do here on my channel. Charles and Palkowski state, looking at fetism through the lens of feminist theory has been useful in outlining power dynamics and the possibility of coercive relationship dynamics. The key problem has been limited focus, which presupposes specific gender roles. The male is typically cast as the feeder, and the female is cast as the feedee, which ultimately re-aims power relations in a specific way. By expanding the focus of fetism research, we can reduce the negative assumptions and stereotypes about our community and the stigma fetus face, as well as strive to not just repackage sexism within the power dynamic of feedee and feeder. And I feel like sometimes fetus research and fetism narratives tend to fall into that trap. So I like that Charles and Polsky mentioned that within their research as well. The authors discuss the prevalence of photoshopping popular celebrities to have larger bodies. While this is something that unfortunately is pretty common in fetus spaces and has gotten so much worse with I personally wanted to take a moment and say, don't fucking do this. It's not cool. The celebrities that you are photoshopping did not consent to that, and there is plenty of fetish content made by actual fat people for you to enjoy. This is the end of Chapter 1 of Feedism, Eating, Weight Gain, and Sexual Pleasure by Kathy Charles and Michael Palkowski. I hope you enjoyed and drop a like if you did, as well as comment on what you'd like to see next. I'm Trick, and thank you so much for watching Queer History Matters.